Hello, my name is Alexander Moreira, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. And our guest today is Ivelina Atanasova, the founder of DigitalKidZ. That's a company that delivers STEM educational tools based on storytelling and play to help children learn basic digital skills and coding. Zdravie, Evelina. Как си?
Zdrasti. I'm happy. I'm happy to see you, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much. It's a great and busy week, actually. So the people start living again after COVID. So I'm happy to be again social.
Yeah, just to make sure, we are recording in the beginning of June 2021, and that's like not only new season year-wise, but also like like we all feel like phoenixes coming back to business dimension. Evelina, coming back to the chat and to your company as well. So we will discuss your company and your products, of course, but just to understand, like initially, you are an ed tech, right? Like educational tech, you could say.
Yeah,
and
that's
why?
right.
Yeah, what do you think makes educational tech less of a prominent kind of ranking leader of all the like VC interests globally? If that's true, of course, if you agree. Like why this is not as sexy as this should be, probably.
I disagree.
Great,
Sorry
yeah.
about this.
So you,
Sorry about this. I do believe that the edtech is the new fintech, to be honest, especially because of COVID and especially after the life, in the life after COVID, because our children have to start learning at home without the school to be prepared for this. And I believe that the digital devices, digital technologies, and the ed tech became really sexy because of COVID and because of this social distance that we all lived in the last year and a half. I believe that people, teachers, principals, society, all of us started to understand why the tech education is so important, and we have to invest there, not only money, but also power, focus, passion, of course, and to support the tech education tools development.
Yeah. Don't I know those challenges? I have a lyceum age kids. I have a school like high school kid and preschool age kids. So I know problems of all those levels of school education. And I, of course, applaud you, even not knowing very well your product, so to say. Now, I applaud your efforts and decision to focus on that. Now, let's move on to the scenario of the chat and start the first round, which is about solution to product. How would you describe in a nutshell, as an elevator presentation, let's say, what you're doing?
Oh, it's a complex solution. DigitalKidZ is a complex solution. It's based on storytelling in play, as you introduced the product. We're delivering fairy tale books. I can show you one of them. Based on the story in the fairy tale books, we create different learning by doing tangible programming projects. And then we have an online assessment platform where we can measure the superpowers of the children. Because the idea of DigitalKidZ is to deliver children-centric teaching solution, which is really important, and digital devices give us this power to deliver personalized, tailor-made teaching solution for all of our children. And I do believe that one of the main challenges in the current educational system is that we are trying to put all of the children in the same box, but we are all different, and that's important. That's the beauty of our society, that we are all different. We all have different superpowers, different skills, different interests, and with all the tools that we are developing in DigitalKidZ and through our program, we try to support parents and the teachers to develop the personal interest and the personal superpowers of each of the children in one classroom. In the same time, they are working on different projects and they are delivering different tools and different work to the whole class.
Presumably in the same room, right? not
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
remotely. Amazing, amazing. So, and what caught my eye and ear is what, as I understood, is the combination of offline online tools, a combo, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's amazing, and also these tangible programming projects. So first and foremost, why did you decide to combine the two worlds, the online, offline, digital only with some offline? And by offline, you mean actually printed in paper? I mean fairy tales printed in paper that have a certain educational goal behind them, right? I understand.
Yeah, that's right.
Level,
I
at the
can show you
teaching
the
level.
book so for people
Yes.
just to understand it. So this is the first book from the series. It's the Adventure of Z in the internet forest. I believe that we live in the real world. We don't live in the digital. Although we use the digital devices, these are just tools which support us and make our life easier. That's the idea of digital. And it's really important for all of us, especially for our children who don't know the world before technology, as we do. It's really hard to build these borders between us as humans and digital and the robots and the virtual world. And that's why one of the main ideas, one of the main focuses of DigitalKidZ is to support children to build these borders, to know themselves really well, to know what they want, to make this connection with their body, with their soul, with their dreams. And after that, through digital devices, to create them, to create this imagination world, these digital tools and digital solutions. And that's why we are delivering offline, online tools, and we are always trying to make this cross border between the both worlds, and we do our best to keep children into the real world, to make them really satisfied with their life into the real world, and to go to the digital one just for fun, but not to be lost there, because that's one of the main challenges that we see with the children nowadays. You know, when we are raising child, I always say that the children before 10 don't have to be more than 2 hours into the internet or in front of the screens, and that's really important to develop the emotional intelligence, to develop this connection with their body, to even to be more social, to be able to build social contact. That's really important. And I'm talking about cybersecurity. I'm talking about digital hygiene habits, and I'm talking about being human before going into the digital world. And that's the mission of DigitalKidZ. The name comes from children who are being born and being raised into a digital era, but it's not only about digital. I don't want that everybody becomes a coder, because digital is more than this, and digital could be used as a tool to support us being more human. And that's the main idea. That's the main focus of DigitalKidZ.
Amazing. And so I understand the digital side is the key resource to reach to try to create a complete personality, with the offline kind of part being the predominant, right? Where the digital is only the tool to reach some goal. And
yeah,
okay, yeah, interesting. Look, speaking, and that's amazing. They are almost like reading my mind basically on some key ideas about digital education of kids and so on and so on. Like for me, the 9-year-old and the 6-year-old have no gaming time at all. Like a year ago or so, there was overuse for some reason, and we tried to do only Saturdays. It didn't work well, because all weekdays they were just dreaming how long is it till Saturday, how many hours, how many days, and so on. At some point I just took the manly decision. I said no gaming time, zero. So we had 2 weeks kind of crisis, 2 weeks crisis, and I told my wife, no, we will survive, believe me. And 2-3 weeks later, all of a sudden we started to get drawings, portraits, like Lego structures and all the other offline stuff that really build up the personality, mind, imagination, and so on. Let's move on. I just wanted to touch on one thing that you mentioned: tangible programming projects.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting idea. How would you like define, describe, and maybe a couple of case studies as well?
So it's like your Lego games, and it's like your Lego construction, but we make the Lego projects interactive, which is so we make the mind of the children much broader in this way, because through play, through building and developing different construction projects, for example, they can understand how the world around is working. So talking about smart homes, talking about smart cities, something that will be really normal in their lives in 10 years when they became adults. I do believe that our children have to understand completely how the technology works, because it's really important. If you want to be more powerful than technologies, you have to understand them. And that's why I'm not quite a big fan of for technologies to be forbidden, because I do my best when I raise my child. My son is already a teenager; he's 14. To explain, and we did a game actually when he was younger, when he was at the age of your children. We did a game. He received points for different tasks like homework, cleaning home, so walking with the dog, so any kind of task. And then he should exchange these points for playing hours. And it's not that easy actually, because you gain the points really hard and you spend them really easy. So that was my that was my way to limit his playing hours, and it was working actually quite well. But now he's more interested in building technologies, like building and constructing his own computer, or trying to code something. But it's like experimenting. It's an experiment, and that's really important, because normally when we were children, we used to experiment. We used to play with the surroundings around us, and that was the way we were teaching actually. And we do absolutely the same with DigitalKidZ. So we support our children to experiment and to see what will happen if they. And that's the idea of the tangible programming products, just to see how the things, how the stuff around them are working, and what if they try to build something by themselves, absolutely alone.
So I see where you're driving. It's like the digital element should enable rather than debilitate your skill set, capacities, and so on. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Evelina, let's move on. And where you are right now commercially or business-wise with the product? Are you selling can we buy these products in one market, more markets than that? What languages?
You can buy the books actually. You can buy the books. The books are launched in Amazon, so they are available as a Kindle version and paper book. So and we are on the MVP of the tangible programming and the assessment platform, fundraising at the moment. As soon as we have the money, actually, we will launch the product, and that should happen within this year. Actually, COVID paused somehow our development work in the last 1 year, but in the same time, it provided us an opportunity to research the market, to validate the product, to validate the market fit, and also to raise awareness about Z and his adventures, because that's some of the it's one of the cores in our product, and that's available at the moment. So I have a marketing background. In the last 20 years, actually, I'm a marketing consultant and a business developer. And it's quite normal that first I'm researching the market, and I'm doing the market fit, and after that we deliver the product. So now we are in a development mode to deliver the product.
So you go by your own textbooks in marketing, developing your textbooks as product.
It's an inverted story actually, because in the last 20 years I was training adults, and I was pushing their creativity, and I'm a fan of digital marketing, of course, because it's measurable. But to sell digital marketing, first you have to educate your clients what they have to expect. And it was absolutely the same story with DigitalKidZ and doing it with the children. Just we put some more play and fun and stories, and it's similar to them. I'm educated in coaching, and I do believe that it's not needed to spoil the children and then they to pay for psychotherapy, coaching, or just to find what makes them happy. That's why we are working with quite young children at the age from 6 up to 12 years old, to support them to find what's important to them, what makes them smile, which are their superpowers. I'm always talking about the superpowers, but it's really important to know who you are and to use the proper tools to deliver, to develop and to create stuff that's really important to you. Because I do believe that this is work, and this is what we do the whole of our life. We are creating stuff that's important to us, and we tell this work, and we are being paid for it, but it's another story. So that's my dream world.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing with DigitalKidZ.
I would definitely ask for citizenship in your dream world. Ivelina, imagine I'm a 9-year-old, and so I play with the tools and the planned, the tangible programming projects and so on. And at some point, I'm aware, or I'm informed about my superpowers. What are those superpowers, as an example, and what do I do with this information in your plan? Yeah.
I will tell you another story. While we were testing, and while we were looking for what are the main problems and the main challenges, first of the students and then of their parents, we've created DigitalKidZ STEM Club actually, and these were training lessons in coding, and not only to see how it's working and what's going on there. And that was an opportunity to meet a lot of students, actually more than 250 students were the first beta testers of our product. And some of them even were girls, actually less than 5% of our students in DigitalKidZ STEM Club, they were girls. And most of the girls actually are creative. They like drawing, they like dancing, and when they came into DigitalKidZ STEM Club, their parents say, "Oh, don't worry, if they don't like coding, it's not a problem. They will not become a programmer." And I said, "Why do you think that digital is just programming? Why do you think that digital is coding? Why do you think that digital is just to be in front of the digital device the whole day?" So it's more than this. And okay. and then when we started working with them, the whole process was centered around the interest of the children. So some were more creative and they liked drawing. That's why we teach them coding through story building. The others were more analytical, let's say, and for them coding was like solving problems. The others were quite good in communication, and we say, okay, so you could be a project manager. Again, you are part of the team and you can support the other to organize their stuff, but you can project manage what's going on there. And so all of them have been taught to code, but the approach to each of these children was quite individual, because we stepped up on their interest and then developed further. And it was really important to me, because all of them, they were aware that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have your own interest. It's okay to have a different approach to the learning process. So for me, it's important task to be fulfilled. The way is not that important, because it's quite different. And this is the superpowers I'm talking about.
Okay. Like between us adults, superpower meaning where, like, in what direction your brain is wired more than or better than other directions, right? And so you try to understand that and just use, like, empower kids with using these superpowers, as you say, to reach a goal that they are aware of or they are not aware of, right?
Yeah, in Japan, people there are talking about the ikigai. The ikigai is something that you do quite easy. It's you done and you're okay to do it, as they say, even without to be paid. That's the superpower. It's something that's natural to you. It's something that you can do great. And for me, it's really important to be focused on this, not on what you are not good enough at. Which is actually the main goal of the educational system at the moment. So when you go to the parental meeting, I don't know how is it in Poland, but here in Bulgaria we still go. And when you go to the parental meeting, all of the teachers there are talking about what your children is not enough good at. They're not talking about what the child is good at. And it's an inverted way of thinking. Because yes, we cannot be good enough in everything, and it's not possible to have all the knowledge in this world. But we are being focused on what's interesting to us and what we are good at. And I'd like to support the children first, and then their parents to support them to be focused and where is their strength and to develop this strength, because that's important to me at the end of the story, actually.
Yeah, Evelina, and I understand this. What we have discussed by now is meant to be extra curriculum rather than part of the main kind of program, right?
At the moment, it is an extra curriculum. At the moment, great. It is, and because of the status of the educational system worldwide, the extracurriculum market is growing rapidly.
Sure. I agree completely.
But that's crazy, because the main idea of the school is that our children go there to learn and to develop their strengths, right? That's the idea. It's not that they are the whole day they're at school and then all of the free times is occupied with any kind of extracurriculars, for which actually we all as parents pay additionally.
Yeah, always true.
And that's what's wrong. That's the main challenge that we are trying to solve. Because if you use the DigitalKidZ tools, then you can use them at home, even for those of the children who are homeschooler. But there are also school packs, and in the dream world, in my dream world, this should be part of the educational program. This should be part of the educational tools, like the textbooks, for example. And these tools are created to make the inter-subject connection, to provide the bigger picture why the children should learn mathematics, why they should learn
holistic
drawing. So if everything is packed into a full project, when you see different pieces of all of the subjects that you're learning at school, then even the learning motivation became higher, which is also one of the challenges in today's generation.
If you know the reasons why you're doing this, of course, you are more motivated to do the hard work and easy work and so on in school as well. And I like your way of thinking also about this cross subject or cross subject kind of approach. If it's math, how math is important in real life. If it's drawing, like where we use drawing and how math and drawing are connected together. Why this is important as what outcomes for what industries and what you have, like why this is a part of quantum mechanics at some point, and some electronics and physics and plastics as a chemistry and so on and so on. So that's a great approach, and I think this could be one of the topics for a completely separate event, basically online, of course, digital event on educational challenges for 6 to 12 age group.
DigitalKidZ had organized 8, I believe, tech educational conferences talking about these programs, and also we've organized. It's before COVID, so I believe that our life is already before and after COVID. So that was before COVID.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like AC, no, BC. It's like before COVID, right? And AG, AV, vaccinum. Ivelina, let's move on to round two, competitors. I know it's a pretty packed and crowded space. Can you maybe put yourself on one side and all the key competitors that you know on the other side, where you think you have to work hard to catch up, and where do you stand, stand alone, and like you are on above the crowd, so to say?
The competition in the tech education is huge, and I believe it will become even bigger. But I think that most of the companies are delivering either training projects, but one for itself, so not like a series, not this bigger picture which we deliver, or it's just for fun. Just for fun is fine, but I believe that digital is more than just for fun, and that's why we are trying, and we are focused to deliver these curricular activities in school curricula, and everything that we are developing is related to the curricula and to what children are learning. It's focused on it's divided on different ages, and it's related to their psycho-emotional development, which is really important. We are always thinking about their psycho-emotional development. I wanted to show you another game that we developed. It's 3 years ago, I believe. It's a DigitalKidZ Imagination. It's a board game, actually, again. And again, it develops the emotional intelligence of the children. So we are connecting the emotions with digital, the coding with imagination, the creativity with teamwork. We're working on these 12 skills provided by European Commission. So I forgot the name, sorry about this, but there are 12 schools which are based on the education of the future. So we are all of them actually are core of our products, and it's one of our competitive advantages. It's also, you said, this connection between online and offline world, because I believe it's important to us. Of course, one of our bigger competitors is the BBC Microbit, but the investment there, it's enormous. And that's why we are focusing different areas, and we're developing something that's interesting to the children and helpful to their parents and to their teachers, with all of these assessment reports that we are delivering to them.
I mean, come on, to have a BBC product or project as your key competitor is not a bad thing. Motivating, and at the same time already putting you in a very privileged position. You know how to do things, and you know how to make them better, judging by BBC. But again, you have a holistic approach, right? You are not only focusing on kind of digital IQ, or like DQ, could say, but also EQ, IQ, and all the combination. Interesting.
My father has a saying which says that if somebody is afraid of bears, doesn't go into the forest. So I'm not afraid at all.
Yeah. True. Let's move on. Ivelina, round three. Let's have here a quick Q&A about yourself and your working style and so on. What would you say are your key productivity hacks? You seem to be a busy person, as any founder probably should be or is naturally. What are your productivity hacks? What tools you use? Maybe some approaches to time management and similar.
I believe that my biggest productivity hack is my experience. because I've been more than 20 years into digital, and in more than 20 years I am delivering business development, strategy, and marketing to my clients into the marketing agency that I'm working and I'm managing. So I know how to develop a market, which is really important if you build a startup company, and especially if you have such kind of competitors and such amount of competitors as we do with DigitalKidZ. But I'm also quite so. I found this balance between creativity and analytical thinking. That's why it's like when I'm working and when I have to do my task, I stay focused and I'm working and following my bullet points. But when we have to create a new project, then it's a creativity stage, and I'm also quite creative person. And this balance helps me actually, because it's not just to create something, but you have always to keep in mind whether you can earn money from it. And that helps me a lot, just to stay focused on earning money and doing something that's sustainable, something that's competitive, and a product that could be successful on the worldwide market. You know, the rest, the Google Calendar, the Teams meeting, and the Cloud Office is a must already. So that's why I will not mention this. The online meetings save me time a lot, because I'm much more effective than doing in-personal meetings as it was before COVID. Yeah, and I know my strengths. Again, we are going to DigitalKidZ, because if I'm aware that I cannot do something efficiently enough, then I just give this work to anybody of my team, and I'm hiring people that fits my not so strength powers, let's say.
Superpowers. So
when
you like a superpower to do a task, you delegate to somebody who has it, right?
Yes.
And that's the maturity every adult should have, and you are teaching this to kids. Great.
I think it makes the life easier. If you know what kind of person you are, everything is much easier.
Capitalize on your strengths, and all the rest delegate, procrastinate, or just forget and drop. Yes, interesting. Ivelina, let's move on to round 4, and round 4 will be about the company now. So I will make a quick intro. Founded quite a while ago, September more or less 2014, and launched initially as an NGO, but then when you understood the potential, I understand, you transformed it into a startup, right? And during the first couple of years, you were researching the market, finding the like MVP kind of prototypes, and raise awareness, won a couple of dozen maybe of prizes internationally. And then right now, how many people are on the cap table as your co-founders? How big is the team, and are you hiring, recruiting right now?
I'm the founder. I'm the only one founder. The team is about 6 people and one R&D company, actually, because the marketing is provided to the marketing agency that I'm leading, and the R&D is again delegated to an R&D company that we're working with. Then the whole organizational stuff, design, development, like creating products, the brainstorming, everything is within the team. Communication, internal, external, is also within the team, and we are 6 people. Most of us are women, actually, which is quite interesting, because it's somehow people expect that we are male dominated because it's a tech project somehow, but most of us are actually females.
Okay, like female driven, you mentioned R&D company, which is your external, so to say, service provider, right, and partner on the R&D side. How do you make the choice eventually to who to work with? is it like previous connections or somebody recommended you, or you just went on the market? It's always a very critical moment in every startup when a non-tech founder or non-hardware, founder need to cover some, or to supplement the company with some R&D brain power, like equipment and so on and so on. How did you choose this company?
It's not a problem to me because, as I said, the last 20 years, I'm a digital marketing and marketing strategist. So I'm dealing with coders, developers, and so Bulgaria is not that big market actually. And I know all the guys. I'm a jury in some of the awards and the digital competition here in Bulgaria. So I got the privilege to work with the best in the country actually, and I know these guys more than 20 years. So it was like I know them. I've worked with them on thousands of other projects, and it was quite easy to me actually, not just to choose people, not just to choose the right team for this project, but also to deliver quite fast a project on the market, a product on the market. It was not, for me, it was never been like starting from the scratch. I've always thought about DigitalKidZ like an internal project, and I've always thought about DigitalKidZ like the best client of the marketing agency and of myself, of course, because this client always agreed to do what I advise it. And that's why it's working so easy and so fluently. That's why in such short time we won so many prizes and we raised this awareness you and me are talking about.
Ivelina, let's move on to round 5, and we call this Formula F3, funding for the future. But before speaking about the future, let's cover what's been done by now on the investment side. And I understand by now you've raised around 500k euros, raised still by NGOs or bootstrap to support the NGO, but all combined around half a million euros. And what's your plan or needs, let's say, for the next investment round, if you have any?
We need about 300,000 euro to produce the series, to produce the first series of products and to launch them on markets, because I want everything in one. So I want the books, the tangible programming devices, the assessment platform. I want everything to be launched at once. And so most of this money will be used for production costs actually. And that's the plan actually. In the best case, we have to raise this money within the summer and to be on the market for Christmas holidays.
Oh yes, I understand. And tell me, if I'm an investor and you say we're raising for 300k euros, my first question would be, and you say to scale up production, right? Or to initiate production. So my first question would be, are the products ready for production, or you're still working on like last touches, or is it still in R&D stage? Or are the products to be produced en masse, so to say? Are they ready already?
I will answer you with a percentage, because we are 70% ready with the product. The books are ready. The MVP of the tangible blocks are ready. I have a factory here in Bulgaria to produce them on a competitive price. And we did some tests there. The assessment platform is something that we're working on at the moment, because it should be connected with the books and with the project. But 70% of the product is ready. So when we are talking with investors, we can demonstrate them what's the stage, and we can show them some numbers and feedbacks from school teachers and from students and from parents, which was really important to me, just to be sure that if we invest money, this money will be won back. So we are at this stage at the moment.
And the money, when the product is ready, the money invested into production are supposed, like this produced stock, so to say, is already covered by some demand, your projected demand, or contracted, or you have some negotiations ongoing with some distributors or wholesale
So I have
partners?
negotiations, but it's really hard to close these negotiations into a deal without a product.
Yes,
So
yes,
it's
okay.
like, yeah, we are fine, we'll be there, but without a product, it's not that easy. Meanwhile, I'm working with the UK market, and I'm
Okay.
working with some trade associations. So it's again like 70% of the deals are closed, but the contract will be signed and the money will come into the bank account as soon as we have product. So it's like a closed cycle. That's why now we are focused on producing the product and having it on the market. Everything that's delivered by now, it's delivered by, supported by small sponsorship, the money you mentioned, self-investment, pre-sales. So far so good. So somehow, to me, I showcased that we can do it alone, but if we'd like to develop a sustainable business, and if we'd like to be a worldwide competitive, which is at this moment is quite important, I prefer to make it with a venture fund and to do it with a partner than thinking about whether we'll have enough and what will happen if not.
Yeah, you want to go sky high, you need some rocket fuel, clear. Ivelina, what about the VC investor profile? Do you have any preferences here? What types of VC you would love to have on board?
For sure, I prefer a tech educational venture fund, company which is interested in tech educational products. And I'm also interested in people who don't mind to deal with female founder, because if you read the statistics, so let's be honest, but if we read the statistics, you see that only 2% of the global venture investment are invested in female startups. Which is quite low as a percentage, and it's a quite big as a challenge if we have to be really honest. So not talking the sweet talks. That's why for me it's important for us to like the guys, to like the people. It's like a marriage. You should be on the same page. But it's also really important to be sure that these people don't mind to work with female founder and with a female team, because it's what we are.
It shouldn't be a problem at all. I know the percentages for first-time female founders and entrepreneurs, but second, third, fourth, and serial numbers are pretty becoming more and more equal. And again, the reason might be not so many give a shot.
Yeah, no, but talking in numbers, talking in statistics,
yes,
only 2% are invested in females.
Yes.
5 in mixed teams, 93% are invested in male startups,
yes,
which is huge difference. And then it's even more difficult to earn money before the A stage. So the first round, when there is a working business, it becomes easier, which is understandable. But yeah. The beginning is hard, so let's see what will happen. There is always an option to pre-sell as everything by now, but I'd like to give the chance to DigitalKidZ really to become a global company, and to become global you need an investment.
Stand by your mission, go and work hard and creatively to become the exclusion to the rule of female founded minority, so to say. Be part of the minority. I wish you all the best. Thanks for the chat, Ivelina. It was a great chat, and we'll be following your success.
Thank you very much for the invitation and being together today.
Bye-bye.